Let's speak to Basil Manuel. He's the Executive Director of the National Professional Teachers Organisation of South Africa, because a circular issued on Tuesday by the Western Cape Education Department said that the department is facing a budget shortfall of something like 3.8 billion rand over the next 3 years, and therefore teaching posts will need to be cut as from the 1st of January 2025. Basil, if we're talking about this budget shortfall, how many jobs, how many posts are at stake at the moment?
Lester, good morning and thanks for having me. This is nothing short of a crisis. When we talk about reducing from 37,000 to 34,000 teachers, we are talking about 2,400 plus teachers. And there is no way, not on this good green earth of the Lord, that we can imagine that this will be in the best interest of the child or of schooling in general.
If we're talking about what this means for class sizes, I don't know if there's a calculation you can do at the top of your head, but on average, what would that mean for? And of course, it will be certain schools will be affected by government by government posts. Some schools can afford school governing body posts, but what would this mean for class sizes?
For class sizes, it means that we are moving up to a ratio of 1:36. But Lester, that is not exactly true in reality. 1:36 is a systems ratio. When you look at the actual class size, and we make a very clear distinction between class size and the systems ratio, you are actually looking at greater than 1:44. And that is where the problem lies, because the class size increases. And when you think about the impact of learning on children, given that we have an integrated model where there are children of various abilities in the same class, the child with less ability gets less attention because they're crowded out. In addition to that, your teacher has to do so much more to actually attend to all those. And remember, we've been talking for a long time, and you and I have had a conversation about the mental health of teachers and the additional things teachers have to do just to stay afloat. It is not a plan that when there's austerity, you first look at schools, you first look at teachers. Your social type responsibilities can't be the first to suffer. And yeah, I'm including hospitals, I'm including nurses, your teachers, etc. Those you have to protect. There are places to cut. We understand the whole issue around austerity, but we cannot accept that schooling will be punished in this fashion.
Is this not a direct result of public sector wage increases? The Western Cape Education Department says that they've only received 64% of the cost of the public sector wage agreement. The remaining 36% will need to be funded by the province. The Western Cape government says, well, we haven't necessarily been consulted, not necessarily party. There has been a national agreement on public sector wages, and now we are trying to foot the bill. We've already tried to cut, I think the province says 2.5 billion rand, but there's still a more than 3 billion rand shortfall.
Lester, there's a half-truth there. It is not about the public service wage bill. In fact, when you look at the public service salaries, they haven't increased in any major measure in the last 4 years. Last year was the first time there was an increase. Before that, there was no increases since 2020. We must understand that. But of course, budgets are determined by the needs of things. And I know budgets have been cut. However, to simply lump it with salaries is disingenuous. Now, and then, of course, also, we must remember that the Western Cape and every other province, because this is not only to the Western Cape, they have representatives in the bargaining council. And the direction in which things are going, they will be abreast of from the very outset. It is not true that you are not consulted and so on. Every province is represented.
Basil Manuel, really appreciate your time, Executive Director of NAPTOSA. If there are teachers listening, if you'd like to respond or comment, more than 2,400 posts expected to be cut from January 1st, 2025.